What is up, everybody? This is Eric, the one and only Bear Collector, and today I am doing a game review of a game that is way too expensive to own nowadays as of the making of this video. And a game that I fondly remember back in the days when I was young, and that game is Swamp Thing for the NES. Now this cartridge right here is basically a reproduction. Of course, it's not. It's a reproduction cartridge. And yes, this game's basically too expensive to own, and I'll go over it and about that in a minute. But something is a game made on the NES by THQ back in 1992, and you play it as the DC comic superhero Swamp Thing out to battle the evil doctor. Oh my God, what's the name of this guy's? Or I guess Arcane. I'm not too familiar with the DC comics of this guy. I'm not too familiar with this superhero. All I know is that it's a mutant that was created from the swamps in Louisiana and whatnot into this superhero that protects the swamps. So yeah, so you battle. You're trying to defeat the main boss, Arcane. I believe that's his name. And you go through several stages and defeat his minions who are trying to pollute the swamps. This game is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. One thing that I learned really recently is that they borrowed the same game engine as Bart Simpsons and the Space Mutants. No wonder back in the days it seemed very familiar to that. And you just basically go through several stages to reach the end. But yeah, to be honest with you guys, I bought this game way back in the days. I used to own a complete copy of this game because I remember either finding it at KB Toy Store or Woolworths and the bargain bin, and it was like for $5. And of course Swamp Thing, oh, one thing I forgot was, I don't know if I mentioned it was made in 1992, which is another reason why the game is a little bit rare because it's kind of late in the lifespan of the NES. But I know that the game, it was in the bargain bins, and I remember buying it because it was cheap. I remember buying it with Stoker's Dracula, because each of them were like $5 brand new at either KB or Woolworths in Alameda. And I remember when Bram Stoker's Dracula was all right, but this one, when I was a kid, it was just super difficult. This game was very, very, very hard. And I just kind of did not like it. Fast forward a few years after, when I was more of an adult, I remember playing it as an emulator and beating it. And then when I played the game again, right recently to do the review, I actually changed my thought about it. I kind of felt like I was too harsh on the game, maybe because of its difficulty. But of course, I used cheats, both last playthroughs. But overall, with cheats, it's still difficult, especially because the character just moves so sluggish. He's very slow. It's like they're mimicking Swamp Thing. He seems like a very slow, you know, hero, like DC hero, but in the game is like they took it too literal. They could have fast forward his movements better, but that makes the game hard. But once I played it, I thought it wasn't that bad. It's just something, I don't know. It's just something. One thing is that it was made based on some cartoons that came out during the time. I don't remember the cartoons. I do have the action figure. I do have one. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I'm back again. But yeah, there's a action figure. Swamp Thing. I had this since I was a kid. It was one, despite the cartoon. So I guess there was a cartoon. I do remember the toys. And the interesting thing about this one is this was one of my favorite toys, and it still works. It's like a grappling arm, and it works. It still works great, even despite after my kids were playing with it. a while back. But yeah, I used to love this figure. This also, I got it in a bargain bin before the game. I bought this one when I was I bought it before the game, and I had it for a long time. And then I got the game thinking that it was gonna be good, and I was disappointed. But at the end of the day, after playing it as an adult, recently, I kind of how can I say it? I'm more appreciative of the game. It's not really if you take aside the difficulty of the game and everything, to me it's not bad. It's kind of strange for me to say this, but it's not really a bad game. If you guys play it with cheats and everything, I know some people don't like doing that. They like that extra challenge, but with me, playing it with cheats just made it much more enjoyable. It wasn't impossible. Jumps are very crazy in some areas, as you'll see in the video. I had to kind of chop up the video a little bit because I just kept dying even with cheats. Let me put this guy somewhere right here. Yeah, Swamp Thing, you own it this time, boy. There you go. Yeah, one of my favorite toys. But yeah, and I was more appreciative of the game. So all in all, I would suggest it's such an expensive game, and I believe one of the reasons is because the game was so bad that I think that and since when I was a kid, I found it in a bargain bin. So I'm thinking just people just did not like it. Also, Swamp Thing is not a very it's a popular superhero. Back in the 80s and the 90s, I know they made like movies, like TV movies out of it. My girlfriend, she says she's seen the movie, and she didn't think it was great, but she saw it and she thought it was all right. I just didn't care for it. I used to hear Swamp Thing, but I know the comics weren't bad. Comics were decent. I remember the comics more than anything. And that's one of the reasons why I got the game. I was one of those people that appreciated these superheroes. And I think another reason why the game is so rare, besides the thing that the game was so bad, I think also because it's a superhero that's not really heard of. Nowadays we hear of the Avengers, Batman. DC just they just barely started bringing Aquaman, and those are great movies and everything from a superhero that back in the days when I was a kid, I didn't think Aquaman was cool, but they made him hella cool nowadays with the movies. So maybe they need to bring Swamp Thing. Maybe they should make a movie of Swamp Thing. Maybe they are making a movie. I just haven't heard it, but maybe they should revitalize the character just like they did. I haven't seen the Blue Beetle, and that's a movie that I really want to watch as of the making of this video, and it's on my bucket list to watch. But those superheroes that weren't really heard of a lot. They should make movies. It'd be creative. Swamp Thing. I think I know that he had a love interest. I don't know who that was in the movies. I vaguely remember he was rescuing a love interest. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the game, I appreciate the game. A very expensive game to own. You guys should just go ahead and emulate it, in my opinion. But I think that if you play it with cheats, it'll be much more enjoyable. And yeah, and the toy, I love the toy. This is the only Swamp Thing toy I've ever had. But I used to have a lot of fun when I was a kid playing this one. I love toys with grappling hooks and things like that. It was just fun, and doing that. So it was great. And then his little pet right here, yeah, it's like his porta potty. Yeah, there you go. Take your dues, my friend. But anyways, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay footage of the game. I had a lot of fond memories and I had a lot of fun doing this review. It brought me back. So hope you guys enjoy it. You guys take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. One more thing that I also forgot to mention. This could have been made into one of the Let's Compare series, because they actually made a Game Boy game of Swamp Thing, and it's a little different. But I feel like this game deserved its own recognition, and also I haven't really played the Game Boy game version of it. I've seen video footage of it, and maybe in the future, if I ever get, that one's expensive too, but if I ever get a copy of it or a reproduction or whatever, maybe I could do a continuation to this game and do a let's compare, by bringing the other one. So anyways, again, hope you guys enjoy the gameplay footage of the game. I hope you guys enjoy this review. This has been Eric, the one and only Bear Collector. Take care. Peace out.